Do you ever feel like you're not progressing in life? Keep that question in mind because we'll be circling back to it later. See, I've always known that there was something peculiarly off about me. Not in the cringy, ooh, look at me, I'm so different kind of way, but bear with me and I'll explain. See, I remember from a very young age that I always jumped from hobby to hobby, interest to interest, every other week, which I suppose is pretty normal when you're growing up. Most people just call that being young and being in your exploring or discovering phase, which I guess is what it was for me too at that time, but a phase is something which just as you phase into, you should eventually also phase out of. And see, this is where the problem lies. This didn't really go away for me. My impulsion to jump from one thing to another stayed with me all throughout my teenage years and now into my young adult life. And I know there are also others, in fact some of you who are watching this video right now, who might also be going through the exact same thing as I am. See, people like us, we like to do a lot of things, like a lot of different things. I'd be lying to you if I said I'm even particularly passionate about most of them, but I'd definitely say that I am interested or at least curious enough about all of them to a certain degree to want to partake in them. And I see this as being a little problematic. The old saying, a jack of all trades is a master of none, I think applies to the situation here quite appropriately. Some of you right now might even be saying, hey, relax mate, you're only young. Use this time to explore, to find out what you like, what you're truly passionate about, and so on and so forth. And look, don't get me wrong, I do agree with that sentiment to a certain degree. I mean, it's not like I'm in my 30s or even in my late 20s that I should have my life figured out or at least have a solid direction of where I'm headed. But I still feel that I'm not where I should be, or at least where I'd like to be in life. And I am led to believe that this is due to a single action which I have continuously and repeatedly performed myself. But what have I learned throughout all of this that could help me and hopefully you all to pivot towards making better decisions from here on out, despite endeavoring aimlessly throughout life thus far? The problem lies in not sticking with any singular thing that I've picked up long enough, or putting in the required amount of time on a single thing to become reasonably good at it. Good at it to the point that I can pursue it professionally should I wish to, which is ideally what I would like to do. More specific to me, I'm not necessarily dropping the last thing that I was working on in pursuit of the next thing. More so, I tend to continue with the previous things that I was working on at a lower effort level and spending less time on them, and at the same time picking up new interests and tasks to occupy my time, and hence splitting my attention between the two. This resulting in being average or below average good at many things rather than being great at one or a couple of things. At the very core of it, this is just a very inefficient way of doing things, and in the long run not feasible in achieving real results towards anything. All I'm doing is spreading my time and energy too thin to be useful or have a real impact towards anything I do. See, we as humans need a routine, a somewhat rigid schedule of familiar repetition of activities in our lives in order to develop in our personal, professional, family, and social life. Without a familiar routine, we wander aimlessly and indulge in new activities and events, all to no avail. Not honing down and persisting for a long enough period on any one task or skill leads us on an unnecessarily long, aimless, and sometimes sporadic search for our true ambitions and interests in life. A search which could be cut short by simply spending a little more time polishing the rock which is already in our hands, rather than putting it down to pick up that very next shiny rock as soon as we see it. We know now that social media and the endless supply of short-form content available to us at our fingertips play a role in perpetuating these activities and tendencies, whilst at the same time reducing our attention spans and making us crave the next big hit of dopamine, and inevitably sending us down an endless spiral of chasing for more and more. Not allowing us to ponder and reflect on what we have already consumed, but rather preying on the human psychology through its ever-improving algorithms to suck us in and keep us swiping to the next video, and then the next, and then the next. Lastly, what I've noticed through my own thoughts and experiences is that I kind of lack a middle ground. And think about this for a second regarding yourself. Maybe you do this too sometimes, maybe without even consciously noticing. You know how sometimes you get this overwhelming and high energy and excitement to get everything done all in one day, and you go on a streak of super high output for a few days, and then not too long after you have a string of days where you literally don't want to do anything and you just waste away doing the bare minimum, only to reach the end of the day so you can wind down to a movie and then bedtime, and then repeat the same schedule for the foreseeable weeks to come. This too, the constant switching between the extremes of wanting to do everything and wanting to do nothing, can become a very toxic and unproductive way of moving through life. Not regulating or finding a way to control this, which you may call mood swings or volatility, creates an unstable progression, which again can become very taxing on not only your advancement through your life journey, but can leak into and impact other parts of your life, such as your mental health and your social and family life. So, this is my game plan moving forward. I'm going to focus on less and do more intense work on those few things which I'll be focusing on. I'm going to create systems and semi-automate as much of my repetitive tasks as I can. I'm going to plan better and batch together my similar type of tasks and work. For example, if I'm working on multiple videos, I'll dedicate a day or a period of a day to just shooting, and then a session specifically for just editing all those different videos. This way, by avoiding switching between tasks, I'll be in a state of flow and I'll be able to output faster and higher quality of work. Lastly, I'm going to stick through with the handful of things I'll be working on long term and just repeat, and repeat till I am on a level which I am happy with. Consider subscribing if you like this type of content, or maybe put in the comments what kind of videos you'd like to see me make. Either way, see you soon.